This is the United Uprising channel. Welcome to today's show. Manipulation and desensitizing people is the key to getting people to accept the mark of the beast, into inviting demonic entities into their home, and being confused about artificial intelligence, not even thinking for 1 second how it actually works, just thinking that, it's artificial intelligence. Okay, whatever, I'll accept it. They don't understand the correlation with quantum computing and summoning spirits, etc. The Bible talks about this with mediums and inviting these types of demonic presences into your home. Now, we know that they've used things like the Ouija board. They've done this with shows about, you could speak to your dead loved one. And Christians, as well as many of the other suckers out there in society, have fallen for this hook, line, and sinker. And they have no idea what they're doing, no idea what they're bringing into their lives and their homes, the types of spirits they're bringing in. And they really don't have any understanding about how AI actually works, right? I've broken down quantum computers before, showing you the correlation with quantum computers to summoning spirits. They even talk about quantum computers being little demons, little digital demons. They even openly say things like that. People out there just go, it's a chip. I don't know anything more than that. They don't think of anything with frequencies in the air. They don't realize the Bible mentions Lucifer being the prince of the air. None of it. So stories like the one I'm about to show you are exactly how they're going to get people to start summoning demons into their homes, thinking that, of course, it's my ex-husband, it's my grandma, it's my great-great-grandma from the revolutionary time period. Oh, yes, let's bring them all in, and let's not question what's really going on here. So this story is a perfect example. They pull on people's heartstrings. This is from Good Morning America. Son uses AI to resurrect his late father for moving Christmas gift. I got chills, and you'll see how this is obviously manipulated and done. It's professionally shot. They say it was just a TikTok video. The mom was perfectly fine on Christmas morning getting filmed, and if that is true and this is legitimate and not just something being used to condition people, well, it's frightening how easy it is to get people to just sit in front of a camera and openly share their lives on the internet with strangers. It's pretty frightening. But here's a mom who's getting to speak with her, or getting a Christmas gift from her dead husband. And of course, we're supposed to look at this and cry and say how wonderful this is. This is how they're going to manipulate people and continue to manipulate people with summoning and inviting demons and spirits into their lives and their homes. Look.
Hi, honey.
Oh.
I love you. I hear your prayers. I want you to know you are the best mother to our kids. And you are the strongest woman in the whole world. I'm always with you, honey. And I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas.
My parents are, I say are, even though obviously my father's not here anymore, but they were the most beautiful example of a relationship like I've ever seen. I have 4 other siblings. We are a very, very, very close family, and I credit that to them and their relationship. With that being said, when my dad was diagnosed at the tail end of 2020, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And to be quite honest with you, his journey with it was absolutely awful. And so that entire process was just gut-wrenching for obvious reasons. But I can tell you that my family's never been closer than essentially when we had found out that he was going to pass away. Essentially, where this all came from was there are so many things that even I, as someone who does photo and video things, I wish I had. I don't have any voicemails with his voice. I have videos just because I'm someone that takes them, but what I wish I would have done was had him say some of the things that he said in that video. Obviously, that's very difficult to do. My dad as a person was the most loved human I've ever met, and I can honestly tell you that he's my hero. Sorry, I'm trying not to cry. Because He was everything you would ever want in a father and in a parent. And I can tell you that his siblings would say he's everything they'd ever want in a brother. And I can tell you his mom would say he's everything you'd ever want in a son. I've never met someone who has zero enemies, zero problems with other people. And if there was one person who died and went straight to heaven with no issues, it was 100% him.
So, of course, this is, the new normal, right? A Missouri man moved the internet to tears after using AI to resurrect his dead father's voice as a special Christmas card for his mom. We're seeing the correlations now. They're actually starting to come out and show us these things with artificial intelligence. Now, a lot of us have always had, believed that artificial intelligence ties in with transhumanism, the mark of the beast, but also the correlation between technology and AI and the spiritual realm. Now, for those of you that don't, now it's time to start seeing what they're actually doing here, right? I talked about recently with Apple, how they have the Apple Voice, how they use Apple Voice. Oh, the girl lost her voice, her father lost her, whoever lost their voice. But now with Apple Voice, you can get your voice back. And everyone's moved to tears because they're thinking it's the sweetest thing since sliced bread. And everybody out there is just going, this is great. We need more tech like this. We need more tech like it. On the flip side, of course, you see stories like the one I covered yesterday where there's a Tesla robot digging its claws into a human being's back. We'll ignore that because, of course, we need to get, this type of technology implemented because people are losing their voice and then they can have technology do this stuff, and you lost a loved one in technology or bring them back into your home. Of course, they continue to do subliminal things with death, making death, missing loved ones and not being able, people aren't able to handle death like they used to be able to handle death. Now, it's not easy to handle death. I'll be the first one to tell you. Obviously, you lose a loved one, it's very heartbreaking for anybody out there, right? You lose a pet, you lose a parent, you lose a wife, you lose a daughter, anything like that is going to really mess with you for the rest of your lives for some people, right? Well, this is a way to start getting people on board with AI, getting people on board with doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And in a sense, this is like using a medium, right? People think that these spirits and demons are their loved ones. They're not. They're demons. Okay? They're like, oh, it's my grandma. Yeah, she's just floating around in the room, etc. And she just decided to sit down on the sofa and speak with you. I mean, this stuff isn't biblical. It's not biblical that you could speak to your dead grandma. Okay? But what is biblical is God warning and forbidding us from summoning spirits, from using mediums, etc., right? And this is no different than turning to mediums, right? In Leviticus chapter 19, verse 31, do not turn to mediums or seek out spiritists, for you will be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God. And this is what people are starting to do because, of course, remember, what's working at the same time here is we're weakening humans more and more and more, right? People are becoming more and more childish, so they can't, as adults, accept the death of somebody else. Even if their mother is 90 years old and dies, they can't handle it. They can't deal with it. They're regressing, not just spiritual regression, but literally regressing in age. We have adults who are behaving like kids. So back to this story, because this is how they're going to continue to get people on board with this type of tech, and they don't even know what they're doing. So this Missouri man moved the internet to tears with the video clip you saw. He said, I decided to do something special for my mom this year for Christmas. Philip, who is 27, explained in the caption of the video, which has amassed over 5.6 million views on the platform. The St. Louis native who creates content for The Content Guy explained in the caption that his father, John, passed away in 2022 after a battle with pancreatic cancer. He wanted to do something unique to honor his hero, so he decided to digitally resurrect him with AI, specifically with the technology he frequently uses for work. Okay? Does anyone not see where this is going? Like, this is going to become a new normal thing. Digital resurrections with AI, uploading your consciousness. People just don't seem to core it. They're like, well, it's just a computer software program, right? Because they use this terminology to make people think that it's something, that they can't really comprehend. So they're like, oh, yeah, I'm not a tech wizard, so I guess it's that. They don't think of it in terms of spiritual, in the spiritual realm and mediums and things that God forbids us to do. Like the verse I just read from Leviticus, right? It will defile you. You'll be defiled by them, right? And it's defiled by these spirits as well that they're summoning, thinking that it's their dead grandma, or in this case, this woman's dead husband and this guy's dead father, right? Because everybody who hears this story, like, that's really cool. That's really neat. That's what the response is. People out there are like, that's wonderful. That's great. I'm going to try it. And Christians as well are obviously going to be easily deceived by this because they're not saying it's a spirit or a demon that's being evoked here. They're going to go, oh, it's just AI. It's just some software program like GarageBand or something like that on an Apple, and everyone's going to go, oh yeah, what's this guy talking about? If they flat out told you what they're really doing and what AI really is, and why quantum computers have to be kept so cold, and then of course everything we know about what they're trying to do with bringing things over from the other side with CERN, or just basic stuff that we know as Christians that the Bible tells us about witchcraft and witches and about allowing them to live as well, right? What do you think witches are doing in their rituals and the things that they do? You don't think they're invoking spirits? Of course they are, right? This is just a new way to do it and to convince you that it's not that, it's something else, and then everybody falls for it, right? Instead of being like, you know what, my grandma died. I don't really need to bring her back as AI. As a Christian, you go, well, I'll see her in the new heaven. Hopefully, my grandma was saved. I'm saved. Great. See you then. I don't need to bring grandma over on a digital Christmas card and be a psychopath. But, weaker society, everyone's just love, love, love is just really a new word for weak, 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 because they just tie a ribbon of love around everything and everybody accepts it and tolerates it, right? Oh, let them do what thou wilt is the mindset. So the Missourian specifically used 11 Labs tech to speech software to match his deceased dad's exact voice, something he found paramount to making the project a reality. And here's the other thing we have to listen about here with the, how they kind of just put this stuff out there and you're supposed to accept it, right? The same with deepfakes, that this technology is allowed to exist. So they instead of you fighting back against going, wait, what? There's software that could capture my voice. And then, all these people are watching like true crime shows, etc. And they're like, oh, the guy made a phone call. That's enough, to arrest him for the murder, etc. He said this on the phone. Oh, well, now we know that they could obviously fake all this stuff. And we've all known this for a while, right? So now they need to convince you why this technology is good instead of going, whoa, bad people in high places could use this type of tech to manipulate and frame people, etc. And everyone's like, they wouldn't do that. They won't do that, right? My name's probably right at the top of the list of people they're looking to frame. Clearly, right? And everybody will believe it. They'll be like, he's a crazy nut on YouTube, a conspiracy theorist, blah, blah, blah. Look, it's his voice, right? All you got to do. I mean, this guy's all he did was capture his dad's voice from probably a voicemail or something like that. And then he puts it into 11 Labs and then they could recreate his speech, right? This is dangerous technology that should be illegal, but we continue to allow it, right? Deepfakes should be illegal. How are we? They're like, oh, it serves benefits. Oh yeah, what's the benefit? Making you laugh when somebody deepfakes Tom Cruise, right? You don't hear these celebrities going, hey, it's a violation of my privacy, etc. Everybody's on board with it, of course, because they know what this eventually means for them being able to rid the world of people like us, right? Because they could easily manipulate these people and they continue to do that. So they could do and get away with whatever they want. And then they normalize this technology by saying, don't be alarmed by the fact that this guy could do it. You should be amazed and say it's so sweet and lovely and that you want to do it too. Yeah. So they say using this tech, the content creator managed to create a digital dead ringer for his dad's tone and cadence. The actual first words that I put in the program was, hi, honey. And he said, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard my late father say that in my life, which was why I had it as the first thing I put in. When the program said it in his voice, I got chills all over my body. Then that's when I was like, I'm doing this no matter what. All right. Okay. So then he said, there's like little things that they're using too. He said, I hear your prayers, right? Using a little minute. So they're doing deceitful things, right? This is AI. I hear your prayers. They're trying to make it seem like, oh, and God is bringing back this dead person spiritually. And people are just going to continue to go along this road. They are, and they're going to be deceived by these things. They don't know what they're doing. It's pretty easy to say we can look around and say that most people don't know what they're doing. So he then used his dad's voice to create a digital Christmas card, thereby simulating having his father home for the holidays. And the touching clip, not frightening, touching, right? There's your manipulation. His mother is seen opening the video book, which you saw, which features a montage of photos of the pair. Then all of a sudden, her late husband greets her. Hi, honey, I love you. I hear your prayers. I want you to know that you're the best mother to our kids. And he said, and you're the strongest woman in the whole world. I'm always with you, honey, and I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. The clip concludes with the mother and son embracing over the heart-rending remembrance. It's been so long since we've heard his voice, and it was amazing. I can also tell you certainly that this is going to make it easier for her to get through this holiday because she's been reminded of him, and now she knows he's with her always. Now, I don't know what kind of a psychopath you have to be to hear somebody's voice that's not even really that, what I mean? Like, to hear a card of somebody's dead who's like, hey, Merry Christmas, I'm dead. Yeah, that's going to make you feel better. Doesn't that make you worse, you would think, psychologically? But of course, to these people, I mean, sure, let's just accept all this stuff, allow all this stuff. Nobody, and then when I talk about this stuff and I say, hey, they could do this, they could do that, everyone's like, oh, that's crazy. They don't care about you, they don't care about so-and-so, they're not going to frame anyone. Who are these evil people, right? Well, exactly. Who are the people who are creating this tech, who hide behind a curtain, right? And they're allowed to do it, and they're allowed to just shove it into the world, and then nobody's regulating it, right? And everybody can do it to one another. It's an utter insanity. So this will continue to be normalized. And of course, the feedback, some people are like, oh, that's creepy, right? You either get, oh, that's creepy, that's a little weird, or the majority of people accepting it and loving it and thinking it's the best thing that's ever happened to the world. And they can't wait to do it with their cousin or their sister, or their ex-boyfriend or their ex-wife, et cetera, et cetera. Instead of facing it, dealing with it. Again, we could just turn like children and then hope that the digital world can recreate our dead loved ones, and we won't connect that to the Bible talking about contacting mediums or spirits because it's AI. That's not the same thing because they just name it something else, right? Kind of like Aleister Crowley, they used to have demons and now they call them aliens, right? But nobody sees the deception here. So this type of technology should be outlawed. It should be banned. We shouldn't allow it in our society to exist, right? But we do. We do because if you play on people's heartstrings like they do, then everybody accepts it. The same thing they're doing with transhumanism. I said it for years. They're going to continue to use your health benefits with connecting humans to machines. The brain chip. They love to use war veterans and say, oh, well, they got a new leg, they got a new arm. And everyone goes, that's wonderful. Thank God for the modern advancements in technology, et cetera, et cetera. They desensitize you, get you to accept this type of stuff, which should be forbidden, mixing of iron and clay. It's happening right before our eyes. And even things like this, where, oh, it's so wonderful, isn't it? No, it's not really wonderful. Do you really know what you're talking to there? Or they're like, oh, it's just a video game. I mean, what are they thinking that's actually happening here where they're recreating their dad's voice? They're not thinking anything, right? They're like, well, I taped it in and told it what to say, and it's AI, and that doesn't mean that it's anything to do with spirits or evoking spirits through artificial. No, not at all. Just continue living in lollipop land. I thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always and your families.